Hello, and thanks for stopping by. Today we'll be discussing the question, do Linux distributions matter? And the answer is yes, they do. But are you a beginner? Are you a distro hopper? Or are you a seasoned user? And so the problem that you have with beginners is that there's too many distros to choose from. And when it comes to finding the right distribution to start someone on, first impressions matter a lot. So making sure that you recommend the right distribution to the right user will give them a much better experience when using Linux for the first time, because it can tell them whether or not they like Linux and what their workflow is going to be. And looking back on it now, if I was going to go with a beginner distribution, I would go with either Pop! OS or Linux Mint. My first distribution was Pop! OS. But some people might recommend Endeavor, Manjaro, or even Ubuntu. I would recommend Endeavor, but I wouldn't recommend Manjaro or Ubuntu. The problem with distro hoppers is that they haven't found the right workflow yet. These people probably have experimented with distributions in the past and were probably missing things out of it. And for these people, why would you run Debian if Fedora runs better for you? It's all about that workflow, and finding it can be a hassle for some people. But at least they're not giving up on Linux. So yes, I would definitely say that it matters for the distro hoppers, because not all distributions are made equally. Some are going to have different flavors, and some can have different feels. The problem that you've got with the seasoned user is that they're often torn between one or the other, meaning that they've done their research already, but it's just a matter of which distribution they're going to choose over the other. The biggest comparison is usually either between Arch or Debian, but for other people it may be Pop! OS versus Ubuntu. Could be Fedora versus OpenSUSE. In my particular case, it was Arch versus Debian. And for me, I chose Debian because of stability, and I also didn't want to do updates all the time. But for some users, they want the most up-to-date packages, and they just want to be on that bleeding edge, which is totally fine, by the way. But this is essentially the problem that you have with the seasoned user, because in this case, the distro means everything. Because just like with the distro hoppers, it all comes down to workflow. What is going to be the better workflow of the two? And so for me, distros don't really matter. I've already hit that stage in which I've experimented and have looked into distros, and I figured out which one I would rather use. But again, that's just me, because I can see the importance in distributions to other people. I think the biggest question is not so much what distribution you use, it's more about whether you're going to use a window manager or a desktop environment. I think that's essentially the bigger question. But that can be for another video, because we have come full circle. And so if you found this video helpful, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I shall see you guys in the next video.